Look at Jay being solutions oriented. When I first pictured this story, it's interesting how like when you go on Instagram and you swipe, because it was like I think on the Shade Room, and it was breaking down into like several different slides. So when I saw the first slide, I was like, "Oh, this is what's up," and I think that's when she was talking about the grief that she was feeling, and so I was like, "Oh, that's what's up," because you rarely really hear people be that vulnerable to talk about grief in that way. I feel like when I hear grief, it's like a sense of loss. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so, and when I hear that, I also kind of hear a sense of regret. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times, like even with the Ebony K's, there's been a lot of conversations. Oh, I'll just be the rich auntie and all that other kind of stuff. But then you meet somebody who, low key, she should be happy as the rich auntie, right? Or at least if she made these choices, then she should be good. So for me, what I heard was somebody who still is not reconciled in her choices. Like when women make these choices, maybe I'm just thinking at it from a logical male brain. I've made a lot of choices in my life. And if I truly was solid when I made them, I stood on them, I'm not going back feeling no type of way about it like that for real, for real. Because I did consider those things. It sounds like a lot of people be going through life not making certain considerations and then kind of find themselves having to grieve the fact that they've misstepped. Because to me, that's what I hear. It goes back to the whole Michelle Obama thing. It's like, if you made that choice on the front end, why are we still tripping about it on the back end? It sounds like to me that you just didn't really reconcile with that. And so I thought it was beautiful that she was open about it because I think women needed to hear that. I mean, this is Tracee Ellis Ross, for goodness sake. This is a woman who I think by all accounts, people think she's attractive, she's smart, she's funny, she checks a lot of boxes, right? And so I think that's where the first slide was. But then when I slid again to the second slide to answer Tia's question, she started talking about men today, for example, because I think she's already given up on the kid thing. And she started talking about men today. And I guess the challenges she's facing now. She talked about how she'd meet guys, and she used the example of maybe some men who she would meet, maybe like homophobic, or they would use certain language. She's like, my God, I'm using this language, right? And right there was what Delvin was talking about, the truth. Right? Because a tiger doesn't change their stripes like that. You feel me? The way that she was talking in the rest of the slides indicated to me that I didn't really hear no accountability for real, for real. I heard somebody explaining a feeling that they were having and then went on to like talk about why she's having an issue now. I did not hear accountability, to be honest with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I heard some vulnerability, kind of, I guess, if you're talking about you grieving. But to me, and no knock to Michelle and Craig, but they weren't really good hosts or fucking interviewers. Like, what do you mean by grief? Why would you feel grief? When you were going through your life, didn't you know you was making these choices? Like, can you walk us through why you feel grief? You're such a healed and whole person. Walk us through how you've healed through that grief that you still are sitting in periodically. She act like she was a victim of some accident that happened to her that she is still having to learn how to cope with, as opposed to being accountable for her fucking life choices. And right then and there, crumbled right in front of my very eyes was the image that I had of her. Nah, boo, I agree with Delvin 100%. And I'm gonna land with saying this for y'all women who want to sit there and empathize low key. Because what she does is almost makes it impossible for y'all to have any excuse for real, right? Because if she can't find a man, who am I to be able to go out there and find a man? You know what I'm saying? If Tracee Ellis Ross, she didn't have to date an athlete or date a nigga on her financial level. She could have had a pick of niggas, and y'all could stop and miss me with the, oh, sometimes if she dates a guy who makes less than her, you didn't know. You didn't try for real. There's no credible way that she made it through Hollywood and couldn't find a husband. Make that make sense. The chances, even with her mama being Diana Ross, and her mama was Diana Ross. So with that, I'm saying, fuck that. You broke my heart. In the words of Drake, you broke my heart because you're just like the rest of them. I was going to give her grace if she at least was accountable, but she didn't account for a motherfucking thing. And if nothing else, it made me realize why she's single now and most likely will probably always be single. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. It was not too much, but fucking everything on Tracee Ellis Ross.
Okay, so I just want to jump in and say I'm proud of you, Nick, because I was trying so hard, and then for you to go ahead and just let it out, I'm proud of you because, I was like, she got to cosplay. That's all that matters. So, what being a wife is like. You know, she just don't know what it's actually like. She ain't lived it. But you know what I'm saying? I love it.
Got to play one on TV.
She played one on TV. That's wrong.
S&M. That's all you got, S&M.
Messed up.
It hurts. It hurts to
I'm just saying, I'm just happy. I'm excited. I was not expecting this turnabout.
No,
So,
man,
you know,
because the first thing got me, and I kept on going, and I'm like, my mouth was agape by the time I got to the
Not
fifth
agape.
slide. You know what I'm saying?
Agape.
She says, so listen, I know everybody trans, whatever, like we all cool, but some of the stuff she was saying as the example, I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Where's the accountability? Come on, man. The same thing with Common. Come on, man. Maybe her and Common should get together. Two fuck niggas and a fuck chick getting together and maybe making something happen. I am so disappointed in her. I'm heartbroken. You broke my heart, Tracee Ellis Ross. You and MK, sit your asses over there. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Esther.
I'll just say, Tia, you like you want to say something before I jump on to the next one.
I mean, what I heard was that women don't have the option in changing their minds. Like, that might have been 20 or 30 years ago before the money was rolling in and the opportunities were rolling in. And she was unbusy when she said, hey, I need to dedicate all this into my life and my career. And maybe now that she has that and that has slowed down finally, now she's like, damn, I made the choice 30 years ago, but I changed my mind. Now, the sad part about it is your ovaries and things, she has enough money to make those things go back. She can have a surrogate if she wanted to. She doesn't need a man to have a baby. Let's be very clear. She can grow one in a tube and it'll be hers and the world will never know the difference. We're going to honor it just the same. Like, she changed her mind. Grief does not always mean tolerance and acceptance. It means it's a portion of understanding you lost something that you would rather have. That's it.
She changed her mind. It didn't sound like, did you watch the rest of the slides? I could hear what you're saying. And I'm glad you said that, Tia, and we can move on to them. But that's the thing, right? If she would have came out and said, you know what, I'm feeling grief because looking back on it, I know I prioritized certain things, right? And she would have had that conversation. That's why I said they did a piss poor job, or at least maybe I just saw the clip, so I take that back. Maybe they dove into it. But the clip that we saw, the part that we saw, didn't really delve into that core, the core of the grief. You know what I'm saying? And it does people a disservice because there's a lot of young women today making this choice. And we're going to probably talk about it a little bit later. But this is the quintessential question I think a lot of women today are dealing with in terms of modernity, their careers, their explorations, the desire for family. And to Dovin's point, this idea that you can have it all. So I just think it's heartbreaking because I didn't see that part from her. So if it's on me, Tracee, I'm sorry. I do want to love you. But if that's the type of time that you're still on, that part I did see, girl, you need somebody to help you. You know what I'm saying? You're in your own way. You've always been in your own way.
I'm available.
And let's be honest, as big of a star as she is, she ain't that big of a fucking star. Even Beyonce was able to go out there and get herself a husband that's to have some fucking kids, okay? So miss me with your C-level ass.
Oh, my God.
Went out there and found somebody to get with. Go ahead.
Wow.
I love her, but we got to be honest.
No, not he protected her. Not like that. Not like that.
Not her C-level ass. You know what? Who apparently...
Oh, you think she a B-level celebrity? Who here thinks she's a B-level celebrity? Raise your hands if you think she's a B-level.
I'll give her B.
I'm saying we all like her too much.
Okay,
we all like her too much to say it in public.
Go ahead.
Look, we can't skate past what Nick said. Look, you're not busier than Beyonce, who got married and had 2 kids. You're not.
Look what she married.
Ooh.
And we talk about settling and standard.
Yeah.
Now, maybe if Tracee Ellis Ross had settled the way Beyonce settled.
Oh, not Jay-Z, not too much on the Jigga Man.
And a settling
I
double
love
entendre.
Hov, but let's keep it real. Like, he was not the prime pickings when he met Beyonce. First of all,
She was looking for another father.
well, because she was 17.
We're not going to go down this rabbit
Right.
hole.